little tender loving care here. You know, I'm changing the oil in this Verado, and I just did the lower unit oil previous to this. And you know, I like to look after my equipment, and today it's all about late season fish, and I'm just winterizing this particular boat here, getting it ready to store for the winter. But you know, there's so much good fishing late season, and today we're going to be doing some heavy metal smallmouth bass fishing using jigging spoons on Lake Erie. You know, those smallmouth put the feed bag on when the weather cools down, and I'll tell you what, Lake Erie has got some big smallmouth. Wow. That is a fish of a lifetime. Here we go, boy. Wow, that thing is a monster. They fight hard, don't they?
Look at that magnificent fish.
Look at the size of that fish.
There he is again.
The color is incredible. Oh, there we go.
The Real Fishing Show with Bob Azumi.
Big old Great Lakes smallmouth. That is a big rainbow trout, Chris. Nice double header. Whoa!
Nice jump.
Yeah. All right. That is a monster smallmouth. And that is so cool. Another one. There we go. The biggest pike I've ever caught in my life. Look at that chunk. Well, that's what we're talking about.
Real Fishing is sponsored by Mercury, #1 on the water, and Mystic Lubricants.
On the Real Fishing Show, we make catching fish like this a possibility. Gotta love the spoon bite. Feather in the spoon. Oh, nice one. That was so cool. A lot of times, you know, if you just feather it, they'll come back, and I'm not fishing this spoon really aggressive in this cold water here. Come on up here, baby. Oh yeah, nice. And that fish there just touched it, and this is a 3/4 ounce splinter spoon. You know, pretty heavy piece of metal here, but that fish just nudged it. And then I let it down again, and then just lifted it up and thump, it was on. But you wouldn't believe how cold that fish is. You know, we're talking about late November, Lake Erie, spoon-fed fish here, and water's cold. It's in the 50s. Oh, just marked another fish there. And you wouldn't want to fall in this time here, that's for sure. But that fish there was just down on the bottom in a, oh gosh, 30+ feet of water here. There we go. I thumped it. Oh yeah, nice one. Man, even in this cold water, they're fighting pretty good. Come on up here, baby. You wouldn't believe how clear that water. Oh, that's a fat one. That's a fatty. That is a fat one. Come on over here, buddy. I love it. Oh, get over here. Oh yeah, look at that brute. Oh man. That is an old fish right there. Look at that. Wow. That is an oldie. And that fish there is, you know, pushing 5 pounds. Look at the belly on it. Pretty big one. And one of the things is about when you're finesse fishing a spoon in cold water is you don't want to give it a ton of action. It's not like an aggressive jerk, you know, like boom, boom, pounding it, as you might in, say, warmer water conditions. When it comes to, you know, fishing in this cold water, it's more of a finesse type bite. I know that my friends Mike and Sue Watson, Sue's a master at fishing the spoon like this, and she fishes it so slow. And I remember she showed me that years ago, and I'll tell you, it works. Look at that. All right. Back in there, baby. Nice. All righty. You know, it's funny. That fish hit so light, I didn't even feel it hit. That was crazy. I just lifted up on the spoon and there was some weight on there. Whoa, thing is jumping. Yeah, it's funny because on Lake Erie, you really do get spoiled if you fish out here a lot. And a fish like this, that's a solid 3+ pound fish, doesn't even turn a lot of heads, you know? I mean, it's a definitely respectable smallmouth, don't get me wrong, but when you take fish like this, you know, there's just so many of them out here when you find them. And one of the things is you know, that there's no question that you want to use your electronics to find these fish and cruise around looking on the graph. And today, before I even lowered down, this thing here, I can't believe how hooked it is, but before I even lowered down my first drop today, I wanted to mark a few fish, mark some hooks on the graph first before you lower down, because you know, there's no sense fishing if the fish aren't there.
Coming up.
Look at the size of that brute. Wow. So one of the keys with deep water smallmouth fishing is that you want to cover a lot of water with your electronics until you find the fish. So really what I'm doing now is I'm idling up and I'm just going to go along this is a long point and a bit of a hump here, and I just want to idle around till I can see if I can mark some hooks, and then obviously I'll start fishing. But there's no sense in fishing if you're not marking fish. Now we're in like 27 feet of water here. It's going to get a little shallower, and I'll just progressively, you know, zigzag back and forth till I can see if I can mark some. And one of the keys though, when you're doing this, is to pay attention to where you mark them. And you can see I've got GPS spots here, but in a lot of cases, you want to drop a waypoint down and mark where you mark the fish, so you're not fishing, you know, too far away from them. You want to mark exactly where they are. So there we go. Man, oh man. Whoa, that's a good one. Look at that. Whoa. Get over here, buddy. That thing is a good one. Oh yeah. That is like video game fishing right there. Mark them on the graph, drop down, and wow. Catch them. You know, look at you know, you got big smallmouth when they got big lips, and this one here has got very big lips. It's an old fish. Hard to say how old that fish, but I'm gonna say, you know, it could be 12 to 15-year-old smallmouth. And one thing like that is these big old fish like this, you want to let them go and let them grow to even be bigger. But that fish thumped it twice. Oh man, it's big. It's a biggie. It thumped it twice, and I actually wasn't marking any, so I cast ahead of the boat just to see what would happen. And one of the things about fishing with a spoon is I'm using spider wire. It's a braid, so it doesn't stretch. But then I've got a fluorocarbon leader, and with the fluorocarbon leader, of course, in this clear water on Lake Erie, what it does is it, look at the size of that brute. Wow. It's nice and invisible. Oh man, that is a slab. Oh, look at that, bait just fell out. So that splinter spoon fell out. Check that baby out. I think I want to weigh that one. That's definitely a big fish there. Wow. Put it in the live well for a minute and grab, see if I got my scales with me. I'm not sure. Might have my scales, but and the thing is in this cold water, you know, it's not a real aggressive approach. It's just a subtle approach, and look at that big old smallmouth. Whew. Okay, let's get a weight on this fish before we release it. It's that's a big smallmouth. I like putting them in a bag like this, and I've wet the bag and then just emptied the water out because you don't want to remove any of that protective slime off the fish. And let's see here, I gotta zero the scale. And there's the weight. I'd say right around 5 pounds, 10 ounces. And pretty respectable fish. Pretty big. Okay. See you later, buddy. Well, one thing is, big smallmouth like that, it's nice to let them go and catch them again. And I'll tell you, tournaments have shown that you can catch the same fish twice. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Coming up.
There we go. That's awesome. Could be with this wind dying down too. They might be less aggressive. Usually it's good to have a chop on Lake Erie. Oh, there, I missed him. There we go. There we go. That's awesome. Oh yeah. That was so cool. You know, you just gotta keep working them. Keep working them till they hit. I think all that flash that spoon up, down, just maybe 6 inches off the bottom or so, just drives them nuts. Look at that. That's another big one. Oh, that one swallowed it. Look at that. That's where having your pliers and everything handy is good. Just so you can, there we are. All right. Okay. No problem. Back down where it came from. Okay, make sure my hook's not bent. Everything looks good. Okay, come on up here, baby. You know, how can you not love, oh, he's off. I lost him. How can you not love fishing for smallmouth on a beautiful November day like this? Oh, just missed him. Now you can see how that's a fish there, but you can, right there going off the screen. But you can also see, whoops, I just missed one there. You can see that wide band on the bottom. And that's a fish as well. So, oh, here we're coming in. There we go. Oh, I missed him again. Just keep working it. Making sure that you hit bottom. Come up, let her down. One thing about it is, there we go, is when they do hit, oh, it came off. Oh, he came off. Darn, I just saw it too. It was about 12 feet or 10 feet below the surface, and it just went down like another big one. Okay, let's see if we can mark another one on the graph, and we'll see if we can't tease one into spoon-fed smallmouth. What I'm now doing is I've got the trolling motor on medium or medium high, and I'm zigzagging around just looking on the graph, and I really just want to mark fish before I stop rather than just fishing haphazardly all over. You know, I'd rather be dropping right down on a fish and, you know, putting this spoon right in front of its face rather than line casting. And you can catch them, you know, on a, say, a shoal or a point like this blind casting, but for the most part it's nice to be on top of the fish so your bait's 100% in the strike zone all the time. little more high percentage fishing doing it this way. So I'd rather spend a little more time looking and less time fishing if my bait's in high percentage areas. There we go. Had to work that one for a while. It was up off the bottom, suspended, and oh, it's a skinny one. It's a skinny guy. That is so unusual for this time of year. Maybe that's why it was suspended, but that is probably the skinniest smallmouth I have ever seen on Lake Erie in the fall. That is a rail. Look at that thing. Wow. It just took the jig the spoon really deep though. Hammered it, but can't believe it. This thing is underprivileged. Let's get it back in the water. Aha, you better get back down there and eat some more gobies there. Huh. You don't see that very often, a skinny smallmouth on Lake Erie. There's no question that confidence is the key if you want to catch more fish. And so when we're spoon fishing, you know, you're using a piece of metal to catch fish. It's basically a heavy metal spoon. And this splinter spoon here weighs 3/4 ounce and it works phenomenal for smallmouth bass. But as a confidence booster, I will give it a shot of attractant or scent. And I feel that that's just going to give you that little added confidence that it's going to mask any human odors as well as add an attractant to it. Another thing is using the right rod and reel for spoon fishing. And this is a medium heavy rod. You can see here it's got a fairly fast tip on it. You need a heavier rod for deep water spoon fishing to get those heavier treble hooks buried into that hard, bony smallmouth jaw. Another thing is fluorocarbon leader. Now we're using braided fishing line, and so you can go anywhere from a 40, 50, even 65-pound braid as a main line, but a fluorocarbon leader in the clear waters of Lake Erie. Now with fluorocarbon, you've got the best of both worlds. It's invisible in the water, but also a heavier fluorocarbon, like 15 or 17-pound test with all those zebra mussels around, are good for abrasion. So next time you get out there, remember, confidence is everything.
Coming up.
Oh yeah, this is a big guy here. Oh, he's off! It's off!
Let's take a look down under with this week's Fish Eye View, sponsored by Mercury, #1 on the water. Wind conditions are the biggest consideration when choosing baits and knowing where to use them. Respecting visibility, picking the right color for the job is paramount. Wind certainly factors in. Wave action stirs up particles, turning wind-swept shorelines into filthy but ideal feeding situations. And what may resemble a snowstorm is actually wind-blowing pollen from trees. A common seasonal occurrence, fish use that debris field as cover. In the north, most lakes and rivers have varying degrees of discoloration. Referred to as tea-stained, it's water filtered through countless leaves and pine needles. The best color choices are white, fluorescent, or reflective finishes. Fertility has the greatest overall effect. Some of the most productive waters look like this and demand standout colors. When dealing with clear water, a visibility of 7 feet or more, you need to pull all the stops. Steelheaders will tell you, gin clear conditions are near impossible conditions. Natural colors are the way to go. So too fluorocarbon line coupled with long casts and quiet approaches. And you'll know when you get everything right. Like the old saying goes, they'll be fooled, hook, line, and sinker.
There we go. That was so cool. He took some coaxing. Whoa. He took a little coaxing, this fish. It was down there. I could see it on the graph, and I kept getting little ticks off it, but it wouldn't take it. Then finally it smoked it. Okay, come on up here. Oh, yeah, there we go. Oh, that was funny. Look at that, hooked him on the outside of the mouth too, so it was obviously just milling around. Fat little guy. All right, that thing fits in the palm of my hand pretty good. Well, folks, when it comes to cold water fishing, you know, there's no question that raking out the heavy metal for those smallmouth bass really, as the water temperature starts dropping in November, they just thump this metal. I don't know, it must look like bait fish to them, but for whatever reason, they hit it. And one of the things I will say is when you do feel a hit, unlike soft plastics like tube fishing or drop shot, you want to set the hook quick because they're not going to hold on to this piece of metal very long. Once they feel that it's hard and cold, they'll just spit it right out. But another thing too is a medium heavy spinning rod works pretty good with the jigging spoons. I also use a bait cast outfit some of the times when I'm fishing these as well, but medium heavy, something that you can set the hook with. So that's a fish right there, that band. Just gotta coax him to come up and eat it. Oh. Woof. Oh yeah, this is the big guy here. Oh, he's off! It's off! That thing was like a 5-6 pounder. Wow. Oh man, this one here's got some weight to it. Look at that rod. Wow. This one here has got some weight. Look at that thing. Just thump, 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 thump. Okay. Come on up here, baby. Come on. Now this is where that medium heavy rod comes into play. Oh yeah, there it is right there. Looks pretty good. Oh yeah. Whoa, that is a chunky fish right there. That is a chunky guy. It's got a few marks on the side, you know, and you know, for the most part, the fish are pretty healthy, other than that skinny one I caught earlier. But here, I'll show you some. Got a few marks on it. That fish is a, you know, solid, you know, probably 4.5 pound fish, but definitely got something there going on. Not sure if that's that VHS or not, but pretty good chunk right there. All right, see you later, big guy. Cold weather, heavy metal spoon fishing, you gotta love it.
Real Fishing was sponsored by Mercury, #1 on the water, and Mystic Lubricants.
Let's size that baby. That thing's got some weight to it. Size that puppy right there. That is just wild. Beautiful, beautiful. Look at the size of that thing. Wow.